Hi everyone, today we're going to focus on the difference between hast, ast, and in Persian. As you might remember from lesson 1 of Foundations of Farsi, there are 3 variations of the Persian verb Budan in the third person singular simple present tense. Ast, and hast. Although it's okay to use them interchangeably in our everyday interactions, as you remember from our previous lesson, Persian prepositions of place, hast is primarily used to express existence, and it can function as both there is and there are, whereas or ast is used for description, like is in English. So remember, hast for existence and or ast for descriptions. Actually, for the noun existence itself, we have hasti in Persian, and we also use it as a girl's name. This could be another way for you to remember the distinction. Between and ast, the variation is exclusively used in spoken Persian, and ast is normally reserved for the written form, with one exception. When the word preceding the verb form is ending in an itself, we can switch to ast to avoid a clash between the two identical vowels. And remember that the negative form for all 3 variations is nist. Now let's put our knowledge into practice. You remember from our previous lesson, Persian prepositions of place, that tuye is in. So if you want to say in spoken Persian, there's a park in my neighborhood, do you think we should use hast or We should use hast because we're talking about existence. So there's a park in my neighborhood would be ye park توی محله من هست. And if we want to say this park is really beautiful, do you think we should use hast or Here we should use because we're describing the park. این park خیلی قشنگه. How about if we want to say there's a bazaar in our neighborhood? We would use hast again and would say یه بازار توی محله ما هست. And which variation should we use if we want to say this bazaar is really lively? Here we would switch to ast because first we're describing the bazaar and second our word for lively, zande, is ending in So to avoid a clash between the two as, we switch to ast and say این بازار خیلی زنده است. So hast for there is and there are, and or ast for is. Let's continue. There's a restaurant in his or her neighborhood. یه رستوران توی محله اون هست. That restaurant is always crowded. اون رستوران همیشه شلوغه. There's an old building in their neighborhood. یه ساختمون قدیمی توی محله اونا هست. That building is a school. اون ساختمون یه مدرسه است. There's a bank in my neighborhood. یه بانک توی محله من هست. This bank is open from 8 to 3. این بانک از ساعت 8 تا 3 بازه. There's a cafe in Afsane's neighborhood. Afsane is a girl's name. It means legend. یه کافه توی محله افسانه هست. That cafe is Afsane's favorite cafe. اون کافه محبوب افسانه است. There's a museum in our neighborhood. یه موزه توی محله ما هست. This museum is really interesting. این موزه خیلی جالبه. And finally, there's a movie theater in their neighborhood. یه سینما توی محله اونا هست. And the name of that movie theater is ایده. ایده is a borrowed word from French, and we also use it as a girl's name in Persian. It means idea. اسم اون سینما ایده است. Perfect. Now you know how to use hast for existence and ast and for descriptions. Have fun with your Persian and see you soon.